Awesome. Hey, any guys got a question right now before we move on? I got one though. Do you know where you're going student teaching?
Um, as of right now, I only know that I might be going to Austining, so it's close by home
Oh,
in
okay.
Westchester
Okay.
County. Yeah.
All right. That's cool. I had to end up going all the way to Buffalo. I had to go 3 hours away to student teach. I asked to stay real close to home. It didn't work too well for me. So,
Yeah. Wow, that's unlucky one.
all right. Hey, Howard. What's up, Jerry? Welcome. We got some students from Cortland here that are telling them what college life is like now and what was it like. All right. And so feel free to ask questions as we go along. All right. Who's up next? Oh, Makatu. Welcome. All right. We're getting them here a little bit later, but we got them.
Terrence, you want to go first? You want me to go? All right. So my name is Kyle. I am I guess you call it a senior. I've been here for a while. Next semester, I'm going to be student teaching, but then I actually have to come back for another semester to finish my minor. I'm in the library right now, so I have to wear a mask, which is part of literally the changes that are going on here right now. As soon as you leave your room, you have to be wearing a mask. Can everyone hear me? I'll try to put it down a little bit.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of regulations and stuff that are going on because they want to try to control the spread and everything. So it's completely different than what life used to be like what JP said. So part of the reason why I came to Cortland was because when I visited a couple of years ago, like I visited in like almost 5 years ago, and everyone was out and about. Everyone looked like they were having a lot of fun. Like it was the school programs were awesome for teaching. It was great. For the gym that they have here is impeccable. Like there was a lot of awesome stuff that's here, and I've had about 4 years now here, so I can't really complain that I've had like limited experience now. I feel worse for the people that just got here because there's been a ton of suspensions because kids are doing partying or whatever, and it's like they're violating COVID policies, so they're getting in trouble for that. Which I feel awful because you can't do a lot of the things like hang out with your friends in the same way that you used to be able to. So yeah, it's completely different the way that life is right now. My eyes are probably gonna explode within the next 2 to 3 weeks, probably too. And I hopefully we'll see what happens. But I mean, Cortland is a great school for like if you want to be whatever, if you want to be for teaching, and there's a lot of stuff that's going on. And college life is actually it's something else. You're never gonna get another experience like it. So.
All right, guys, what do you think? Any questions? Or are you saving them all for the end? All right, we'll let the other guy go, and then we'll open up for questions. How's that?
All right, hi everyone. My name is Terrence Scott. So it's kind of confusing about my situation because it says I'm a senior, but they told me I have to come back for a whole another year. So, well, anyway, I actually started off at a community college. So I took a different path. And community college, I'll say, is honestly the best thing. But, to each his own, everyone's different. So, but I started at Westchester Community College, and community college has way more opportunities and support staff that can actually help you. Whereas a four-year school, you're leaving your hometown and you're going to be a freshman, and you may not get as much as help as you need because the population is too big at a university or four-year. So a community school is more of a smaller thing, and they can focus more and help you more. So I graduated from WCC, and then I came to visit Cortland, and I seen the campus, and I actually liked it. It's real big. Like Kyle said, the facility to work out is amazing. Like you can use whatever you want, you can do whatever you want. Like it's just amazing. It's one of the best things I've seen up here. So, and to piggyback on JP, I work out every morning. Everything's about mental health now. Like you just got to focus on, doing the right things or stimulating your mind and working out. So the best thing I can say is, just make sure you're exercising daily, doing something you love or whatever it can be. Even if it's for half an hour or an hour, just get up and do something. Um, that's about it. Oh, one thing is, life before COVID, it was definitely more fun. That's one thing I can say. I only been up here for a year at Cortland, and then now this is like my senior year or junior year, and I have to come back for another year, and I just been sitting in my room working out. It's not as much fun as it was back then as it is now. Like you can't go to the bars, you can't party. At the same time, like JP said, it gets like mental. Like you're sitting here, what am I about to do? Oh, what I'm gonna do tomorrow? You never know what you're gonna do a week ahead until you get yourself together for the next day.
So are all your classes virtual?
Officially now, yeah.
So you guys are on campus, but you don't go to the buildings on the campus.
Yeah. So the first 7 weeks we were in person doing face to face, and then like the last 4 weeks we just been online, and they said we were just gonna stay online.
Now, are you guys on a different schedule? Like you end at Thanksgiving time and have a longer break in the middle?
So they said we'll finish it out like right now until Thanksgiving, and then we have a choice. If you want to come back and sit in your room or do whatever you want to do, you could, or you could stay home for the last 2 weeks of December.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I appreciate it. I did the 2-year route too, and I definitely took way more than 4 years to get my degree. It's more like 8, but we're not going to talk about that today. All right, guys. So, Rari, what questions do we got? Rari Da, you're first. What questions do you have?
Like from, I mean, I think I heard you guys talk about it, but like from like the transition from in-person learning to virtual, it wasn't like really easy, right?
No, not at all. I would say for the first 7 weeks, as Terrence said, that we were in person, I was like really motivated. I was like, finally, we're back in the classroom. I was like doing all my work ahead of time. I was like, yes, I'm ready for this, This is like before Corona happened, I was like, oh man, I gotta go to class now. I was like, oh, I gotta wake up at 8:30 and go to class. But like now I'm like excited. I'm like, yes, I get to go in person to class, interact with people, and like I missed that. And now that we're back online, it's like, oh man, like I just lost all motivation. Like I'm like I like had to force myself. Like I put my phone under my bed for like 2 hours and I just concentrate on work, Or else if I like pull up Instagram, I'm stuck on Instagram for like an hour because like I don't want to do whatever my teacher's telling me to do, you know? So like that transition, it was so hard, to keep motivated. Like now I'm doing a lot better, but motivation has been, kind of the thing where you have to have like that, like inner determination where you have to like pull it from within yourself, especially in college. Like everybody says, like in high school, like, yeah, your teachers are going to help you. But like when I got to college and like in-person classes, I could go talk to a teacher and they'll help you. And like as long as you reached out, that teacher would help you. But now that you're in person, yeah, like to go to like a virtual like office hours, it's like it's a little weird, and it's just like it's not as motivating as okay, I'm already in this building, my class just ended, I'm gonna go talk to this teacher before I go back to my dorm. Now it's like, oh, I just finished class online and I just shut off my laptop and I'm like, I don't want to touch it for the rest of the day. So you got to pull it from within yourself to really sit down, do your work. And I think that was probably like the hardest thing when transitioning from on like in-person classes back to online.
Well, all right, Atha, you're next. But JP, talk to us about that. What's that virtual office hour? What does that look like? Is it one-on-one? Is it a group, a Zoom, or what does that look like in college? Because they have office hours in high school now virtually. Because these guys are 1 day a week they can go in, and 4 days a week they're virtual, or they can choose to be all virtual. Some of these guys on this team meetings with us are all virtual, and so they can go to office hours. But how are your office hours in college? What does that look like?
Yes, office hours in college. It's like you go on. Most teachers use WebEx. That's like the one that Cortland has like their agreement with. So basically, you go to like the Blackboard page. You click on like where the little office hour thing is on the side, and then it's just you, them, one on one. But there's been a few times where like, okay, I'm just gonna see if this teacher's in their office hours right now, and you go in and then they're talking one on one with the person, and then you're like, oh no, and you have to like click out and then email them and then be like, oh, let me know when I can join, and then you have to wait for their response and all that stuff. So it gets a lot more tedious than being able to just walk up to a teacher and see if they have a person in their office or not. So it is a little weird. Most teachers now, instead of like having that like awkward like situation of being like you go in and somebody else is in, after class they're there after class for like an extra 10-15 minutes just answering questions if anybody has questions.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hatha, what question you got today?
So you said you lack motivation. So is there a time where you chose to not do your work?
No, not really. I want to get my degree. I've been here for 3.5 years now. I'm about to go into student teaching, the final step. And I'm not really trying to fail any class and have to come back and spend a lot more money. College is not cheap at all. Um, so no, I mean I'm doing my work all on time, but it's just like I might be staying up a little bit later than I want to. I might be staying up until like 12 or 1, you know, in the night and just like trying to like push this workout instead of where at like 2 o'clock I was like just sitting in my bed doing nothing. I could have been doing the work. That's like the type of thing that I'm talking about. I mean, there's been times where I'm like, oh, what if I miss this? But then I was like, no, I can't miss it, or else, if I fail that class, my parents will like just have my head on a platter. That's it.
What about Kyle?
Wait, yeah. So, in terms of like my experience with motivation in this, I have had no motivation. I have been watching TV for countless hours this semester. It's been really a struggle. I've been staying up. My sleep schedule is erratic. Like I've been, like the last 2 nights, I've been up till 6 a.m. watching the Boondocks and the Chappelle Show, and and then last night I actually went to sleep at like 2, so that was good. But then it's just the classes I'm in are just so like dry and stale that it's just really hard to find a reason to keep doing it. But it's like it's my last semester of these type of classes, so it's like I'm just really like saying just get it done, like just get it done, just get it done. But it's a challenge. It really is. So.
All right. What about you, Terrence? How's the motivation been?
It's been the same as theirs. Like it's really hard to like actually just to focus in on what you got to do. Like you think about it in the back of your head, like procrastination. Like I got time, I'm gonna push it to the side. I got time, I'm gonna push it to the side. The more you keep pushing it back, you find yourself 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, trying to finish a paper and submit just before it's due at 11:59. It's like, what am I doing? I'm doing everything wrong. But at the same time, you just got to tell yourself, let's get it done earlier. What I started doing was I even sat with teachers, like he said, the last 2 minutes or 5 minutes of class, just sit there and ask questions, get to know your professor. You'd rather have a relationship that you build than sitting here and just, oh, class ended. Let me close my computer. Let me go. Because then you can ask for help, but you can't ask for help if you never spoke to your teacher. So And then the other thing is just like I said, motivating myself is just getting up and going to the gym. Start my day off every day at like 7, 6, 8, or 9, just to go to the gym in the morning, just to get my day started. So I use that as my momentum, and then from there, I even take myself to the library sometimes. And like Kyle said, it's not the best thing because you got to sit there with a mask on, but you get work done, you can focus, and it's just a quiet place for you. So
Man, I used to go to the library, get into one of those carols, get all my stuff set, get ready to study, and I'd fall asleep. It was terrible. I'd be cleaning up the drool off the desk there and try to get myself back together before someone saw me. Yassine, what do you got? Got a question? Are you still with us? All right, we're coming back to Yassine. Maka 2, what's your question? Then we'll go to Abdueli, and then we'll go to Jerry.
I was just gonna ask, like, have the teachers been like, is the workload the same for like in person and virtual, or like have the teachers been like harder on virtual and stuff like that?
Oh, good question.
I'll say it's been consistent. It's like the same. It's because it's the same because you got to think we had schedule changes. So like I said, the first 7 weeks we were face to face. Then the last 4 weeks we were online, and then they just told us for the remainder of the semester we're going to stay online. So the teacher had to be flexible too because they something out and just expect us to do it, especially if we were in face to face a week ago. Now we're online, so it's like a scale. It depends how the teacher is, or the teacher may give you something, but at the same time, it's just different now. It's just hard to explain.
My question is, how do you guys like stay on track and stay like like manage your time and all that through this pandemic, like your work and balancing your work and all that?
Good question.
For me, the best thing is like if I have it written down. So, can you guys see me?
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
I have my calendar right here. It's always like right next to me on my desk. So if a teacher says something, I put it down on my calendar. So like for this first week of November, I don't know if you can see it. Like I have all my stuff that I write down. And then like if I don't finish it, I circle it and like make sure that okay, I have to focus on this for the next few days in order to finish it. And as soon as I finish it, I cross it out. So like and then like for my future stuff, I have like what I have due on these days. So like I was like, okay, if I can finish this today, I'll try to do it. But like motivation's hard, but I try to use this to help me keep on track. So like I don't miss assignments or if I don't like miss events or anything like that. Like in my calendar right now, I have building men today. So like I was like, okay, I make sure I'm here and I'm ready for that.
So
yeah.
basically, just use the calendar and know when's due when and what to do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you can't get a calendar, my girlfriend uses Post-it notes. So like during class, like if a teacher says something, that's something due, she'll write it on a Post-it note and she'll stick it either on her laptop or like on the wall behind her laptop or on her desk. And then she's like, okay, look, I have this to do when she sits down. I have this to do, and then she just takes it off. I guess that's a bit like better to visualize, but I feel like it could also be a bit more scary if you have like 10, 15
Yeah.
posts up there. You know?
I feel like I lose that. The
Yeah,
Post-it notes, they're lost.
No, yeah, definitely. So, but I mean, that's what works for her. You have to find what works for you because not everyone, can do the same thing. But if you find what works for you and, that actually keeps you on track, then keep doing it.
How about you, Elliot? How about Kyle? Terrence, you guys write it down on a planner? You guys do electronic? How do you guys do that?
So I actually use a whiteboard. Like I have a whiteboard behind my actual computer. So I write stuff down just like him, like JP said. Anything the teacher says, write it down on the whiteboard, and I just have it there as a reminder. Like even the interview today, I have it right here, November 4th, 7 p.m.
I love using the whiteboard. It's so cool erasing something. It's like it's gone. Kyle, what do you use?
I have this little planner book thing that I write down the day it's due, and then recently, in terms of like trying to get myself to like get the stuff done, I feel like I've been telling myself, all right, like I have 3 classes right now, and they're like high credit classes, so it's like if you take 2 hours for each of those classes every day, you'll get all the work done that you need to get done. Like I know it sucks 2 hours, but then you're done for the day, and then that's what I've been trying to tell myself to do.
Awesome. Jerry, give me a question.
I just had a general question about jobs. Like, is it easy to find jobs on campus, or is it like kind of hard?
Oh, good question.
So I'll definitely say it's hard because it's a bunch of kids. Like I said, it's not just you, it's not just your friends, it's everyone on campus, you know. So the jobs are limited, and then at the same time, they don't pay much. So like what I did was last year, when I first came here, I said the same thing. I need a job, I need to make money, and I just need it right away. And I had to go to work at Wendy's, which was off campus, and I had to ride a bike there every day or walk. But at the same time, it's like it was draining. So I had to tell myself after like 2 months of working, I was like, I can't work here no more. I have to focus on my schoolwork. So I found myself leaving from work from like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. because it's a fast food restaurant. So they stay open, you know, all night. And then I have class at 8, 9. It's like, nah, I'm tired. I don't want to do nothing else. So the best thing I would say is like over the summer, if you could start working then, save your money. You have to save. That's what it's going to come down to. Because you're going to need food, you're going to need books, you're going to need, you know, supplies. You're going to need something. And the best thing is, you know, save your money over summer so that way you don't have to work when you're, you know, in school full time because it's hard.
Cool.
Yeah, to piggyback off that, I during the summers I work in construction because my dad has his own company, so I work with him during the summers, just trying to make money to pay for like anything, like books, my apartment, food, all of that stuff. I have to pay for by myself. That's out of my own pocket. So, but like, yeah, you really have to like save your money. Every dollar counts until the end. And one time I did try to get a job on campus as a not like as a trainer, but like as a supervisor in the gym here at the Student Life Center. And I put in my application, and apparently there was 1 or 2 jobs open, and there's 500 applications for that one or two positions. So like, and for jobs on campus, it's given to students who need the money, and actually, you work and it goes towards your balance that you owe to the school. So that's why. So the students who need the jobs are prioritized before anybody else who needs the job. You know. So I mean, yeah, finding jobs on campus is really hard, especially now, because the only thing that's open on Cortland are like the dining halls, and they don't even need anybody to clean the tables, collect all the plates, all of that. Everything's just food now. They serve the food in the container, and they give you the container. So I mean, there's not really that many jobs, I would assume, for campus students. If a better chance, I would say is going off campus. But I mean, like Terrence said, I mean, they they can keep you until like 1 or 2. So you have to find that balance, because you're at school to learn and get your degree and come out, better. But at the same time, you do need a job if you need a job. But if you don't need that job and you can save your money, that's what you have to do. I mean, working while you're in school kind of sucks. You miss out things that you're doing with your friends. You might miss out on assignments, and that can really bring your GPA down. But like, you have to find that balance if you're able to do it.
Man, there's the bistro. Is that still open?
Yeah.
Yeah, Makatube and I like the bistro. Makatube, remember the bistro?
Yes, sir.
Abdurrahman, you got a question? Abdul, you got a
No,
question?
I,
There you
no, I just joined. I'm still thinking.
go. All right, we'll come back to you in a minute. Bob, Abdullahi.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I just joined too, but I don't know if you guys are like what year you guys are, but like, was it like, was it easy for you guys to like the transition from to freshman year of college?
So you transition from high school to your freshman year in college. Can you guys remember that far back?
So for me, I actually started, like I said, I started at a 4 year. So I went away to a 4 year, and then come to find out it wasn't the best of best because I was in New Hampshire. I wasn't even in New York. So I knew nothing about New Hampshire. Went there for a semester. It didn't do as good as I expected to. So this is where I told you guys I went to community college. And from there, it was just uphill battle. It's all about, meeting your needs and doing what you got to do. So when I was at community, I actually worked and was in school full time. So what JP was saying about, doing it here at Cortland, it may be easier to do at a community college where it's harder to do at a 4 year. So I went from, yeah, I went from the 4 year to community. And then from there, I just, it took me 3 years to graduate. So it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter how long you do it. It just matters, that you get your degree. That's the biggest thing. Don't ever think about the next man telling you, "Oh, you're 25 in college still." Think about the 25-year-olds or 24-year-olds that didn't even go to college or didn't even do anything in college. So you're way ahead of them no matter what. And the biggest thing is just never quit. You can get knocked down. You can, fail a class. Trust me, I failed classes. I'll tell you personally. I didn't do my best in all of them. But at the end of the day, I made sure I'm where I am today. And that's because I didn't quit and I didn't give up. So.
Yeah, you ain't the only one. I ended up 2.5 years at a 2 year school and went to Cortland for 2 years, ended up dropping out and coming back 3 years later and finishing up when I was 24, hanging out with all the young kids there that were there. So, but I had to get it done, had some life hit me in the face and didn't adjust well. So, but I like the message, man. You just keep doing it. You keep doing it. Kyle, how was your transition from from high school to freshman year?
It was weird because I feel like I'd never been by myself like that before, and I kind of was just doing stupid things. I actually got suspended my my third semester for drugs and alcohol. So I really what's the expression? I messed up. No, it's not. I don't know. It's an expression, but I didn't. I was doing stupid stuff, and I it took me that hit that, like you said, like life just hit me in the face, and I kind of realized like, all right, I gotta get my stuff together, and then I got back in and finishing it up now. So it's definitely kind of hard for me to. It wasn't hard. I just wasn't ready for it. I was not mature enough, and I definitely could have benefited from staying home a little while longer, like a year or so or whatever. Or and I really wasn't ready for it, but um, it is what it is. That's life, and I learned from it, and it's not gonna happen again. And I'm not gonna let myself get to that point again. So yeah.
Oh, I understand 100%. Been there, done that, man. My problem was I didn't have a support system. I left home by myself, didn't have a support system at college, and try to make decisions on my own that weren't very smart. So, I feel you. JP, how was your transition?
My transition was very different. I would have to say. Both my parents are immigrants from different countries, so and neither of them had. And my mom had her high school degree from Ecuador. My dad, I don't think he finished high school, and so growing up, I always was in a situation where it was like, okay, I'm a first generation born in America. You know, I have to help my parents. I have to do this because my parents worked every day, from 6 in the morning until 6 at night. Like there's been times where uh, I wouldn't see my dad for like maybe a whole day, and then the next day I would see him, just because of how late he would have to work, just to try to make ends meet. Luckily enough, he was able to start his own company, and he still works hard because he understands what it's like not to have things. But that's what pushed me. Just seeing that my dad and my mom both working, they wake up 6 o'clock, they get us ready for school, and they put us on the bus, and then they go out to work, and then they don't get back until like 6, 7 at night. Cook dinner, put us to bed, and then maybe 9 o'clock they get to rest for an hour, and then they're right to bed. That's a hard life to live. So I had a lot of motivation like that, seeing my parents go through that. And then being, first generation American, being able to go to college and just seeing the joy on my parents' face, saying, like, we came here, we did what we had to do. We made a better life for ourselves, and we were able to make a better life for our future children. I'm just grateful for that every day, that they were able to fight like that.
Awesome. All you guys that are in the same situation, raise your hand. One, two, three, four. So, JP, you're in good company. That's you describe majority of my guys here, and a couple that Yassine having problem lagging getting off. So, but most of these guys are in that same position, right? You have that same opportunity ahead of them. All right. Who else has a question? This has been really good, man. You guys have asked some good questions. Anybody else?
I have one question.
All right, Abdul first, then we'll go to Jerry.
All right. Do you guys find it easier to live on campus? And like, what is the good and bad side about it?
Ooh.
I currently live off campus right now. So for Cortland, because I've been here for all 4 years, your first 2 years you're on campus, and then your junior and senior year you're allowed to live off campus. So my first 2 years living on campus in the dorms, it can be a lot of fun if you're in the right group, and it all depends who you're stuck with, because you're stuck with those people. Before you could go, you go to class and you meet different people and you go to different dorms, and all that stuff. Now I don't think you're allowed to go in and out of dorms like that. So yeah, I wasn't fortunate enough to be in a good group where I was my freshman year. I went in, I had a triple. So we had a bunk bed. I was sleeping on the top bunk. And I remember the first day I got there, my mom was just complaining to anybody she could find, saying that my son's going to hit his head on the ceiling. He's going to hit his head on the ceiling. So, I mean, it all depends on how your situation ends up, but you could always meet new people. You're not, now I guess could be a little bit harder, but yeah, it all depends on the situation you're in when you're in the dorms. Your second year, I know you're allowed to pick who you can live with. So if your first year, I was lucky enough to find like a group of guys I was like really good friends with, and I've been living with them ever since sophomore year. So we had like a whole suite. There's 6 of us in there. It was the best thing ever. Off campus, you get a lot more freedom because you don't have an RA there with you the entire time. But it's also a lot more responsibilities. You have to make sure you clean your room, you keep the house clean, or else you'll get mice, you'll get insects, like ants or whatever. They'll come into the house. So yeah, so like you get a lot more responsibility, make sure everything's clean, making sure you're paying the bills, and that like if anything happens, that landlord is going to charge you for whatever happens. So you got to make sure you maintain everything, because they'll find any little thing to be like, oh, like if you have there's like command strips, they're like the worst thing ever. I hate using command strips because every time you rip them off at the end of the year, they rip off the paint too. and you're like, oh man. I was lucky enough because I know how to fix that. So like I'll fix it so I don't get charged for it because they'll charge you like $100 for something that takes $15 to fix, you know? But like I mean, if you don't know about it, then you know they'll be able to pull it on you like that. But you know, luckily I was able to fix it myself for the $15 instead of being charged like $50 or $100 or something like that. But yeah, there's a pro and cons of living on campus and off campus.
Awesome. Jerry, what was your question?
My question was also about dorms. Do you think it's better like to try to get into a dorm if you like don't live in the best place in the city? And how did you get into dorms? Did you apply for any programs to help you with the cost? Those are my questions.
So I'll say what I did. So when I first came up here, I'm a transfer student. They require you to do the first year on campus no matter what. So you can't even like avoid, going off campus or whatever. So what I had to do was I did my first year on campus, and then I met a couple of friends. Like JP said, you're gonna be with a bunch of kids. You never know who's gonna be your crowd. So you may be with one group, you may be with another group. So I came down and ended up with three roommates that I met last year. And I actually like them. They're cool. We actually been hanging out ever since then. We even hang out over summertime sometimes. So it's basically who you find and who you want to deal with. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna be dealing with these people for a whole semester. So if they don't like to clean, they don't like to cook, they don't like to pay bills, that's all gonna fall into you. Now that's more stress on top of schoolwork. So, and you said a kid from the city, right? So I would say do your first year on campus. See how you like it. You may like it, you may not, but you definitely will meet people. That way, you can go off campus because those people could say the same thing. Oh, I don't want to be on campus no more. So let's go off campus. But like I said, at the end of the day, make sure they are the right people because you don't want to be caught up in their mess and your mess and school. So
Awesome. Who else got a question? Oh, go ahead, JP.
You asked about like helping paying for living on dorms, right?
Yeah.
You can become an RA. So basically, being an RA, I know a bunch of people that do it, but I don't know if I could personally do it just because like the responsibilities of it. But you're basically like a supervisor in the dorms. You get your own room, which is kind of nice, and they pay for your dorms. So like you don't have to pay room and board. So all you'll have to pay is tuition and food. And honestly, probably living in the dorms is the most expensive thing because living on living in the dorms my first 2 years, um, I was paying a lot of money. And then as soon as went off campus, I was paying maybe like half of what I was paying to live on campus. So it all depends on your financial situation as well. But I mean, being an RA, I mean, it pretty much cuts the price in half because they'll pay for your room and board. So, but I don't think they allow you to be an RA your freshman year. I think only after your freshman year you can apply to be an RA.
So I got a question. Terrence and JP, how is it being a young man of color on a college campus now? Because most of my boys here are gonna walk onto a college campus, and they're gonna be young men of color. And how is it, in the current state? How is it going?
for me, especially as a young man of color, you're just gonna face a lot of things. That's all I can tell you. Like at the end of the day, you got to be strong. It's a mental thing. It's not even like the next person or what someone else thinks of you. At the end of the day, you got to think like, this is where I am. I know where I'm going. This is where I am. This is where I'm going. Meaning like people may judge you just on your skin or and even appear. Not to say people don't have their own opinions, but like I've seen someone down the street from me and they're white. So they have the Trump flag, they have the Blue Lives Matter flag. Everything about them says Trump. So it's like, wow, this is how it is up here. And being a kid of color from, back home, Westchester, like a city, it's like, nah, this is totally different. This is like, I feel out of place. I feel out of pocket. I'm just not, in my own zone or element. But at the same time, like I said, I'm only here for a semester. This is not my world. This is not how I'm going to live for the rest of my life. You just got to come up here or go where you're going to go, get what you need to get, your degree, your schoolwork, whatever, and just get what you need to do so you can leave.
Thanks for being honest about that.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I felt out of place. I'm from a town that's mostly Hispanic, so I was, used to speaking Spanish every day. My friends, I had a mix of friends. So like I would have a few white friends, a few Hispanic friends, a few black friends, like we would all get along. But like up in Cortland, it's a completely different. The diversity. I mean, I would say it has gotten maybe a little bit better, but it's nothing, to talk about. Right? It's pretty much still the same. All the kids are white kids from Long Island. 50%, 60% of these kids, white kids from Long Island, and they're from their like suburban communities where they have, like every person has like a nice half acre of land and they go to the beach every day and all that type of stuff. Um, but you had to find your group. I was lucky enough to be part of the C.U.R.E program. And this C.U.R.E program is Cortland's urban recruitment of educators. So if you want to become a teacher, you come to Cortland and you apply for that C.U.R.E program. They give you money and they'll teach you how to teach in an urban district, right? And they're looking for students of color, because the teaching force is, predominantly 80% white, and the U.S. population is not 80% white. So we had to, as teachers, be that lifeline for students. You need more teachers of color. So like being in that group, there was Spanish people, there were Middle East people, there were Black people from like all different backgrounds, cultures, everything. And there I felt more comfortable. Yeah, and you're able to talk to people, and you have similar backgrounds. You have similar traditions and morals, and like you're able to connect a little bit better. And there's a lot of groups on campus for students of color. There's at least 3 I can think of from the top of my head.
Does Lima still run the multicultural group?
Right. So there's
And
multicultural group. Lima runs that, and it's a great group of guys who do
Move, men of values and excellence.
hmm And I even when I did the visits for Building Men, I would use the guys from Move because they're able to connect with these students a lot better than having a random person who doesn't really understand their backgrounds, and
Yep.
who might not understand the struggles of being a student of color and coming to a school that's mainly white and completely different from where they might come from. So
Hey, do
I
you
mean, you
remember?
have to find these groups.
Do you remember Andreas?
Yeah.
He's doing Building Men at Clary for me.
Oh,
He got a
really?
job teaching at Clary, yeah. So he's
Wow.
doing Building Men. This is his second year. So I was wondering if you remembered him.
No, yeah. He was a PE guy too. So I
Yep.
mean,
Yep.
he as soon as I came into C.U.R.E, he helped me out a lot. Okay, these are the classes you have to take. This is the route you should take. And all
Right.
of that stuff. He helped me like map it out a lot better instead of going in there blind. And like that's what like these groups do for you, or these clubs. Like C.U.R.E has like helped me be the person who I am today like a million times. They put out these events for you to go to. They set you up with mentors. Like my mentor, me and Kyle have the same mentor, and he's the principal of Binghamton High School, and that's a great connection.
Right.
So I mean, and then we have meetings when before COVID we had meetings, and we had an administrator, like the hiring administrator from Syracuse Central School Districts, and he was the main guy who runs like who gets hired in in Syracuse and who doesn't get hired. And he's like, you email me directly with your resume, cover letter, and we're looking for teachers just like you. And these are the type of connections that you get if you come to Cortland and you apply for C.U.R.E. I mean, there's obviously other schools and they have other programs like this, but I mean, C.U.R.E has been one of the best things like ever as like a person of color coming to a school that's mainly white. One of the best things ever.
Yeah,
I just
Dr.
want
Chris.
to piggyback. I just want to piggyback on JP, basically saying about the C.U.R.E program. As a student of color, it's probably one of the best things I even enrolled in, because the type of education you get is not the education you get, when you just come to Cortland. Because things are teaching you, especially as a student of color, they teach you of like what things may lead up to or why things are the way they are now. Like example I can use is just something like there's a topic called prison pipeline. So it's basically talking about how young black students or African American students lead up to, going to jail or leading to bad routes or bad paths. Basically saying, they label us before we even do anything as a good student or bad student. So that means like as of right now, they probably labeled you guys, oh, this kid has been good, throughout high school, but we don't know where he's gonna end up. Like say if you got in trouble or did something, bad, they may lead you to the past, oh, this kid is disobedient. So therefore, he may go somewhere down the wrong path later on the road. But it's just things like that. Because like I said, no school would, break down as an African American student what you really be going through. Like they actually tell you everything. So I actually enjoy it and like it because it's eye opening.
Awesome. All right. What do you say, guys? Anything else?
I got a question. Is SUNY Cortland, is it like a private school or what kind of school is it?
It's straight public. The whole SUNY thing is about like, students who live in New York. So you can possibly get scholarships, just for, living in New York. You don't have to go out of your state to go to a 10-hour away school and then just go there for a semester to come right back. So it's like at the end of the day, the best route, like I said, was, go community, you save money, you learn more, then definitely from there, you just take what you learn and, even the skills you learn there, because there's going to be skills you learn everywhere you go, but it's just about where you go in life.
All right, guys. What do you think? Last call. Anything else? Great questions as always. All right. Hey, C.U.R.E guys, thank you so much. This is a great conversation. Way different than the other ones. You guys kept it real today, so I'm glad because these boys need to hear the real side of it. And JP, Dr. Miller went to Rochester now, so the head honcho that was speaking to you is now in charge of the Rochester City School District. So if you want to go out there, then you talk to him there.
Oh wow. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he just got a new job, I think in September. He went out to Rochester. All right, guys. Thank you. My Building Men boys. Next week we got Brittany Clark. She's from SU, and she's gonna talk a lot about getting into college to play athletics and getting into SU. So that'll be next Wednesday, and that'll end our series on colleges. And Abdullahi, I'm going to work on your request to get a motivational speaker for the 18th. So I'll let you know when I got a guy in mind, and I'm gonna get a hold of him this week, and I will work on that for you.
Okay, thanks.
Absolutely. All right. Excellent. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. You guys can thank these guys. That would be great.
Thanks for talking.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course, anytime.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All righty. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Have a
of
great
course.
evening.
You too.